you're stuck on your ex and got that oneitis, baby. All right, my guy. So I can relate to you. If you're stuck on an ex, this was me for like 2-3 years, and it is the absolute worst. Post-breakup dating, whoo, scary, man. It really is scary. So there's a lot of different mindset shifts for this when it comes to masculine social dynamics. The only thing in this situation that is really important to know is it's just awareness and knowledge of your own body and feeling through feelings that you may haven't felt to clear a charge. Now, what I believe happens is as the charge starts leaving you and you start meeting another woman, is her energy starts coming in. Now, if you've had a bad breakup and you're in post-breakup recovery and, you know, dating and moving forward and meeting like amazing women, but you still are hooked up on your ex, there's a law of tension and the law of non-attachment, which are extremely important when it comes to finding, you know, a woman that's a really good fit for you. So if you're stuck on this is using the emotional pattern process, which you want to write down these questions. Follow this. 1, what is the emotion that I'm feeling right now? You just write that down. Then how does that make me feel? Write that down. Where in my body do I feel this? Write that down and do it right now. Pause this, write it down in the section underneath here in school, in the forum section, like open up a new tab wherever you can write it. Go and actually start writing this. I'll repeat them again. Number 1, what is it? What emotion are you feeling? And then he says, how does that make you feel? Answer that emotion. Then where do you feel that in your body? So where's the location? And then where does that energy want to move, right? Where and how does it want to move? And then what does that emotion feel like in your body in regards to sensation and texture? What does it look like? Is it a bin, lid, can, phone, rock, bed, fridge? Like what does it feel like in your body and where is it sitting? Like describe to me the texture. And then where it wants to move, start picturing it moving. And then what is the location of where it is that it's moving? What does that feel like? What is the texture of that? How does the energy want to move with this one? And then what I want you to do is on that second one is to feel it, is to stop after you've written it down. You know, it might be throat, chest, belly, balls, wherever it is you want to feel it. And then wherever the energy wants to move, like actually move your body around in a weird way when no one's watching to try and allow it to come out, release, and make any noises. You might cough, hiccup, throw up, whatever there is more coming out of. You might laugh like crazy, yawn or whatever. Is allow your body to do that and then start figuring out where that actually come from. So when was the first time that you felt that emotion? What were the thoughts that were running through your head as you were doing that process? Because most likely that's where it come from, right? And then once you draw that pattern down to the back, it's like, oh, that's why I always get stuck on the one woman. Oh my goodness, this is why I get that oneitis and I can't. Overcome this breakup because I haven't felt through it, right? So when this happens, there's a few things to know. One is we got too attached to the woman because you're not as clear or focused on your purpose as what you should be. What happens is when we have a woman that gives us so much love is we often project a lot of the things that we want in ourselves on this woman, and then we think that we can't get them without the woman, especially if it's love, fitness, wealth, or whatever. That is just a projection that we desire, so we look for it in a woman, and then she becomes the fix. She becomes the thing. And if we're not 100% focused on our career, we have a good men's group around us, and we have like friends and fun and a mission that is more important in the world than what she is, then we always end up susceptible to get our hearts broken, which we don't want to do. Now, the thing is when it comes to women is that is an extremely hard place for her to be in because it's so much responsibility and energy and drive that she has to receive from you, which from the law of non-attachment makes her feel repulsed and unattracted to you. So here are some things in the law of understanding women, which I'm actually just going to pull up on my documents because I want to read these out to you. There's a bunch of... Just two seconds, my guys. Let me pause this. I'll be back with you in a minute. I'm back. Here are some of the laws. So the laws are protection and your benefit is the first law. So if you have the ability to protect a woman, safety, and her heart, it's such an important benefit for you, especially when it comes to, if you're comparing someone to your ex and it feels like you can't protect the woman that you're with because you're still stuck on your ex. That's actually a betrayal to her. That's unfair on her. That makes her feel unsafe. That's not a good fit. And then out of moral obligation, you got to end that. So I hope that makes sense to you. Second law, safety. She is always searching for safety. So the same thing. If the person that you're seeing doesn't feel safe and you don't feel safe around her because you're still hung up on an ex, then that is unfair on her. In terms of law of, not law, but it's just a general obligation, and, masculinity and leadership is you got to mention those things. Now, the part to this when it comes to safety and her always searching for safety to find attraction to you is you can mention it to her. That can clear the charge. I'm missing my ex. Like, I'm still hung up on my ex and I want to get to know you and it hurts and you're amazing and it's really good, but I haven't cleared it out of my body yet. So can you be patient with me as I start to work on myself for that? There's a reason why you're here. It's time to work on it, right? Especially going through that emotional process. Let's go. But you might have to do that emotional processing thing 10 to 20 times. And if you aren't coming to the coaching calls, then what are you doing? There's a meditation for this, which will be linked below that you'll be able to listen to yourself, but coming to the coaching calls and actually listening to the guys specifically guide you through this again and again and again and again is what's going to help you overcome it. So mentioning that to people who you were dating is extremely important because it makes her feel safe. It makes you feel safe. And then the attraction can actually start to bond, because otherwise it feels like it's something that you're hiding. And if you've studied, I've studied shame, and there's a lot of stuff that you know about shame. The shame tries to hide itself and it continues to hide itself. But when it's seen, it goes away. So to know that you can still be loved and a woman is still attracted to you, even if you're still a little bit hung up on your ex, immediately the charge starts to go. The next law, she doesn't want to think, she wants to feel. No decisions ever. So she doesn't want to have to make any decisions. And if you're stuck on your ex, what's going to happen is if you start to bond to this person as well a little bit and you're not making any decisions because you don't want to make her, you're hesitating a little bit on the relationship and it's hard for you to get in another relationship, what's going to happen is when you do start talking to someone else, you're not going to go all in. You're going to start to bond to her, and then you will unconsciously start sabotaging the relationship to prove to yourself that you're still not worthy enough of your ex or whoever it is, which reaffirms that you should be sad and unhappy, which then creates scenarios in your life where you're still sad and unhappy and you're proving yourself right all the time. That's a lot of shadow work and a dangerous place to be. Your truth is attractive and your vulnerability is gross. So the truth of what you're in at the moment, if you're in a heartbreak, is you're in heartbreak. Own it. Spend the time grieving. Grieving is love. So when you're experiencing grief, you're actually feeling love. And if you want to transmute the energy, and there's a chapter in a law in masculine social dynamics called energy transmutation. And what that looks like is when you're feeling a certain charge, it's how can you change it to something else? You can do that with her. So you can take her charges, sort of like an airbender, come in and change it and change it to something else. Or like a Dragon Ball Z or whatever, right? It's like coming in with this energy and then shooting it out somewhere else. You can do that. And then your vulnerability is gross. So if you feel like you're in a lot of pain and you're sobbing and you're crying around her, that's going to feel like a lot of responsibility for her. She's got enough of her emotions to feel. So thank God you're in this community. Come and feel it with the guys to move through it. But there's some ways that you can increase attraction. She lives in emotion, but she is unattached to outcomes. Women aren't attached to outcomes. They're not attached to pacing of relationship. They're not attached to timing of relationship. And they're not attached to the future of the relationship. Women are so present. That's why they always want a present man. I don't know if you've heard this before. I want a man who's funny, and I want a man who's present. So common for women to say that. So if they're not attached to outcome, time, pacing, nor are they attached to the future of a relationship, it's like, as a guy, it can be extremely confusing for us. But we got to know this stuff, because if we don't, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. But what does that actually mean? What that means is the second that we're attached to the outcome, we're attached to the pacing of the relationship. We become attached to the future of what it could look like. We're attached to the timing and the meaning behind everything. We're setting ourselves up to lose. So this is where the law of unattachment comes in. Never, ever be attached to outcome. Even if you're in the position of you're about to marry a woman, be hopeful. Look forward to it. Get super excited. But this is something I want you to know. You're in love with the feminine, not her. She is a vessel for the feminine. It channels through her. And what you experience through a woman is this beauty, this softness, this attraction, this sensuality, which is so attractive to us guys. And if we label her name as Danny, right? This is Danny, the girl that, does this for me, and we only just believe that it is her, we set ourselves up for failure every single time. Now, as men, we like commitment. We actually want to commit. Yes, sexually, we want variety, but emotionally, we do really like commitment, because we want to build a family and everything else, right? We want our own little empire at home. And what happens is, the minute that we become super attached to that, and that is the focus, not celebrating the feminine inside of her, celebrating the attraction and our love and our relationship and the lives that we get to build together, and we make her the object, that's way too much responsibility, she goes, oh my goodness, no way. So when it comes to you and your ex, the charge there is you had this attachment to an outcome that you thought was going to happen at a certain time, at a certain pace, with a certain future. And she didn't buy into any of that. And now it hurts. So can you see how being attached to that can set you up to be a total mess? The frame is a little bit different in terms of reprogramming your mindset. Reprogram your mindset looks like, oh my goodness, a future with her would have been absolutely amazing. The timing, she was a right one, and everything looked like it was going so well, right? So now I appreciate all of that. She was amazing. I hope she finds someone that's such a good fit for her. And it is my duty now to find another vessel or another person who can shine, who can essentially feed me the feminine energy that I want and I crave, that it's a good match for me. And there's thousands and thousands of those women that are out there that are a good fit for you. We live in the best time for dating. But yes, one of the things to get sad about and allow yourself to feel sad about is if you've created connections and bonds with someone, is it's like, oh, we've got all these like timelines and we've got this past that, together was really awesome, but it served us up until now. Right? And you can feel sad about that, but also extremely grateful, because she's helped sharpen your sword, help you get to the person where you need to be now, helped you get here and start learning this, so that the next time that you find, the vessel of a feminine, you can show up with as the vessel with the masculine energy that has enough to support the feminine energy in the woman that you want. Your masculinity and your groundedness and how masculine you are as a man is going to support the feminine energy in a woman that you want. What you do for money, what you do for career, what you do to keep in shape, how you study, and what you know is not important to a woman. What's important to her is how you make her feel, and if you can make her feel more into her own heart, which is the scariest thing for her to feel, which is one of the next laws in understanding women. It is way scarier for a woman to get vulnerable than what it is for you. So your role and duty is to guide her into that, right? So when you learn that skill, oh my goodness, you become so much more attractive. You become so much more confident. You feel like, if you're using social leveraging and hosting, which is a couple of things that I talked about in the laws of masculine social dynamics in the very first 2 modules of this section here, is if you're using those and you create a life of abundance and you love your social life and there's women around you that, you can, essentially whenever you're single, you can go and meet someone and know that not long you'll find someone who you can fall in love with, who is a good match for you. Then you become less attached to the person that you've broken up with. But that doesn't take away the love. that doesn't take away the uniqueness, that doesn't take away how special it is, because it is so beautiful to be able to bond with someone. But when you understand that there is a bonding practice, she's got no attachment to anything, and the closer that you bond to someone, the more commitment that you want to have together is extremely important. This is why knowing what you want and having a good disqualification process and actually getting into a relationship with a woman, like knowing that you can fall in love so deeply as a man, works to your power when it comes to dating. It works to increasing your value as a guy just by simply understanding this, because that means you're not going to date a woman just for validation. Doesn't matter how pretty she is. Doesn't matter what she does or wherever she is. It's like, is she actually a good fit for you? And do you know she's going to last with you long term, so she's not going to break your heart? Are you doing your due diligence to ask the right questions to figure out if she is the right fit for you? So when it comes to dating and flirting in these areas, I was running through a text with one of my clients before. All right, listen to this. This is hilarious. He messaged me. He's coming in here. He messaged me, how can you look at this text message from a woman? And he said to her, is that photo taken in Greece? And she was like, hi, what was the surprise? Responding to something else. Yes, that was in Athens this year. This was his surprise. My surprise was us matching. Hee hee. And then another message, ha 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 ha. And then another message, you went to Europe this year? I'm so jealous. Another message, did you indulge in serious amounts of gyros and coffee? Or gyros and coffee? Not sure what that is. Anyway, she didn't reply. So I replied to him in regards to this, and one thing is, when you know what you want, you have a good disqualification process. The question that I said to him as a reply back to this was, when she said, hello, what was a surprise? And yes, that was in Athens this year. And then I responded back to that saying, uh-oh, are you still in your travel party girl era? Question mark, tongue out emoji. One question you might want to know as a guy is, I don't want a party girl, right? I don't want someone who's partying and drinking and taking drugs and doing God knows what out in Europe. So you want to ask that. Oh, she's traveling. Is she a party girl or is she not? Because you want to know. And if she's a party girl, be like, you can ask her, okay, well, do you have any plans of coming out of that anytime soon? Or are you just well in that and having fun at the moment? So you want to know all of these questions. What's the relationship like with the parents? What's it like with someone else? And you can go through one of the other programs. You can go look at the law of masculine social dynamics and start doing the disqualification process, which I'll actually just link a worksheet down below, and start filling it out so that you know what you want. So when it comes to talking to new women, you know what that is. Now, having that sense of clarity increases your confidence so much, so that when it comes to getting over your ex, you're less likely to be stuck on your ex, because you know that you can get a woman who is, can serve you better, who serves the feminine more, and you can get out of that feeling addicted to a certain kind of sadness. So please run through the emotional processing process. And as I mentioned, it may not be once. You might have to do it quite a few times. Come to the coaching call so that we can run you through that ourselves. That'll help you clear all of the tension that is inside your body. And then the second thing is, go run through that disqualification process so that you know what you want in a woman. So when you start talking and flirting and meeting the next woman, you know what that is. You start getting excited. You're looking forward to it. And then you're actually turning more women down. You should be saying no way more times than you should say yes. One of my things is, like, go fall in love 3 or 4 times with women that you know you're not going to spend time with in a place that you can't. So if you go to Bali for like 2 weeks, fall in love for a week, you know what I mean? And then go somewhere else, fall in love for a week, go somewhere else, fall in love for a week, and practice the skill of intentionally breaking up with people who are an okay fit, you know what I mean? A bit of an okay, where you're like kind of getting to know them, but there's still love and these are emotions there that you're feeling. But then separate yourself and then take a little bit of time while you're learning masculine social dynamics and the rest of it by dating, to really find someone who's just a yes, 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 yes. So big love, guys.